Hey friends, welcome to Moxie Gardens. I'm Mike Toomey, and today I want to kind of do a little fun little video. I want to take you for a path through here. We're going to play back from whenever we first started putting that sidewalk in this year. If you've been with me for a little bit before the sidewalk went in, you'll know that we had different things. We had wood, we had sand, we had stone, bricks, rocks. We had a number of things that made out this sidewalk. Well, now I'm making it a little bit more cohesive. Why is that important to share with you? Well, I think it's fun to play back the hands of time, right? To see how things develop during the season. But the second part to that is maybe you're in the midst of trying to figure out a way to do your garden. So this garden turns out fun. So I went from the fence, from the property line, and worked my way in. I'm not a designer or anything. I really don't have that that history of knowing too much. It just was all by accident. So when I started at the fence, I just got lucky that I started at the perimeter and moved myself in. Worked my way in. I think that's kind of traditionally how you should probably start your garden. Those of you can leave a comment if you have a different idea of how to start a garden, but by doing this, I've really developed a sidewalk and a cohesive path through here. And so I have the grassy knoll behind me. I call it the grassy knoll. That's the way I kind of describe when I'm telling my wife or the kids where to perhaps put some water when I'm working long hour shift at work. I work about 12-hour shifts a day, sometimes 6 days a week, but most times 5. And so I need their help a lot of times kind of getting through these hot summer humid months where things need to be spot watered. So the grassy knoll here, when you walk in there, eventually all the canopy from the trees and the upright structures of the junipers and those type of things, it's going to be a wonderful little secret garden in there. We're not quite to that part, but we're building up there. And so as we walk along this pathway from the spring before it even, or late winter, before I was even putting down the stone, you'll see where I started to kind of lay out the rock. We'll get you some aerial views. It's a lot of fun, but that way if you're incorporating ideas or trying to figure out ways to maybe take your garden into another level, or maybe start your garden from fresh and you're trying to figure out what you want to do, this little pathway might kind of inspire you or maybe trigger a thought that could help you get on your way. So that being said, let's go through a path here, and then we'll give you some aerial. People love the aerials, so that will all play out in this garden or this video, and then we'll just see where it takes us. So yeah, let's just jump to it. So I think this is a good spot to start, this little landing here, and the reason why is because this is kind of where the video that you will have either seen or will see later on in the video, depending on how I edit it. This was kind of where we started in late winter. I think it was a lot of fun. At the beginning it probably looked disastrous, but I think it turned out so well. So when going through here, this is the landing pad right off the stairs. If I was to pan you around here, right up the stairs, where we come outside. There's Miss Marley. If we were to come out here, right down here on the steps, we can take this spot, and now we are heading towards the east. One of the things that I really like to do on my pathways, especially coming from like arboretums and botanical gardens, nurseries, wherever, you kind of, when they have their little displays in the nursery and different areas that you go for landscape purposes, but one of the things I really like is how sometimes like these boxwoods that are growing here, they kind of impede the path just a little bit, and you know, we're instinctively, I think we reach out and touch things, smell things, want to fill things, and that's one of the interesting parts about what I'm trying to do here in this garden. It makes it feel like it's a little bit older than it really is. And if you can imagine, I put this sidewalk in this season, like I've mentioned and shared with you guys early on. So then I backfilled all the soil up against the sides, and then I came back and I put plants in, and then I added different or I added mulch along the pathway. But I squared it off. This pathway, it wasn't going to be something, I kind of wanted to be different than everything else I've ever seen. So most garden paths will be winding and very smooth to the eye. Not this one. I kind of wanted it to be different, so you take these more less angles when you're walking through. You can see right here where it's just a sharp turn and it heads that way. It's kind of what I really wanted to do. And one of the reasons why, as you can see here, this coleus is kind of changing the eye in the path. And I think that's fun. I think sometimes when we're just repetitive and do the same things over and over again, it doesn't have its own character and its own purpose. And so I think it's a little bit of a good choice by me. Now, we did have a lot of rain last night, first time in some time. Super excited about that. So those dark paths that you see on the sidewalk, that is from the rain that we received last night. And if you're wondering when this was videotaped, last night would have been the 4th of July. So you will probably be seeing this on the 6th. So then I have this large pad that comes right here and goes right into the shed. Pardon me. And so the shed right here kind of overlooks this part of the sidewalk as you walk out. There are some neighbors having a little get together, so if the noise gets a little loud, I may have to stop the video for a little bit. But you can see the gray stone right here. It kind of leads you in from the grassy knoll area. Remember, I call it the grassy knoll, but leads you in through there, or you can walk out of the shed, and kind of gives you a purpose where to go. So I think that's fun. I've got different things that I want to accentuate the corners. I want to hide the corners. I want it to kind of be a mystery. We've done a lot of garden tours, so I won't name any plants really today. I just wanted to share with you guys the idea of a garden path. You see how the different, like this is 9 bark here, it's leaning over, and there's some hostas and some catmint. Look how fun it is, and it just incorporated the space so well that it kind of looks like it's been here for a long time. Very simple, nothing too magical about it as far as putting it down. And even early on, I had the visual. I could see it. My wife would walk out here and she'd be like, "Ooh, I don't know, Mike." Yeah, so I felt like it was coming together. Underneath this, there's 2 type of crushed material. There's a finer crushed material stone, and then there's a thicker stone. We used a tamp plate to stamp down that first layer to kind of give it a level base, and then the bigger stone that's on top of it, we used just our hands to kind of rake it around, and then you kind of level it out. So so it's 3 layers. It's the crushed stone, the fine crushed stone, then a thicker layer, and then the stone itself that we laid on here. And one individual had spoke, does it bother me that some of these plants kind of impede the path? No, because really it's just brushing up against my leg, and again, it hits some of our sensories, right? The look, the feel, the touch, the smell, those types of things. And so I kind of like it, and I walk through here with no problem at all. And if you're a little tyke that's coming through the garden, you get to stop and smell what's going on and kind of touch and feel the different plants and material. But look how fun this actually turned out. I'm so pleased with it. And so then, like right here, I was able to use just some natural stone from Home Depot, I believe was where I got that rock. And what I did was I went in there, and so again, another penny saver is to go in there and find the rip bags, stuff that people, you know, ripped or during process of unloading the semis. These rip bags are sitting off to the side, and they'll give you a discount. And sometimes it's not even missing any rocks. It's just the matter of the bag looks nasty, the bag's tattered, and so they know it's going to be harder to sell that one, so they go over and speak to them. They give you a 50% deal on it, 75% deal on it, just depending on who you talk to. And then I bring home these lucky little finds, and add it to the garden. And right here, the stone, I have this crushed rock I have just kind of spilling into the pathway. I use that material much like I would use the different foliage from my trees and plants and annuals, shrubs, to kind of flirt with the sidewalk. And then as I continue to find good discounted deals, I'll fill in some of those dark spots. But you can see that mulch, it's up, and this section right here is kind of up probably, oh, I'd say almost a foot. And so that spills over. Someone did ask in one of my much earlier videos, they asked how do I get the mulch and different things to stay in place because of the robins, the different birds that come and peck and eat in your space. Really, there's no trick to it. So the fibers from, like, say, these mulch, they tend to kind of grab onto one another. But honestly, before I do a video, most times I just get out here and I get my leaf blower and I kind of clear the path real quick and then share it with you guys. So sometimes it looks like it's all tidy and always kept in place. That's not necessarily the case. You know, I kind of clean up just before I do one of these videos, and not to hide anything, or just to kind of make it look nice. You can see here the sajuga. I planted a lot of the sajuga early on. Look how well it's filling in that space. And then the monkey grass over here. So it's just kind of nice. You see the little pieces of monkey grass kind of leaning into the sidewalk, and then over here it's just really getting after it. So again, that's just another part of the garden, that, or idea to the garden, that helps this look so nice when I come through here. And then one of the real big things about having those corner spaces in the sidewalk was because I wanted to kind of go around the corner. Again, I have a small lot, it's a 1/4 acre lot. I've got all these trees and all these shrubs, but what I'm trying to do is make it to where you have to turn a corner to find out the result, what's around the corner. And then I talk about pockets, planting in pockets. So this right here, this would be considered a pocket between the two trees. And then I plant it up and add all kinds of color and different styles of texture to the plants, whether it's tall or thin, wide leaf, thin leaf, different colors. And then it actually just kind of looks like little rooms to every turn that you go. And that's kind of what I'm doing right here. I'm going around this spirea that I just trimmed up not too long ago, and it kind of just, it feels very cohesive, but at the same time mysterious, because you have to go around different turns and corners. And you can see here I've got this bridge that kind of breaks it up, and then you want to know to yourself, you ask yourself, should I go straight through this path, or do I take a left through over the bridge? Where does the bridge lead to? Eventually that bridge is going to have that idea. I've got this Japanese maple and several of the trees that are through here that are just going to, over time, continue to you know, grow and develop and kind of give it more of a mystery type darkness to that area. Not like a dense darkness, but like you can't see the other side, so you kind of want to duck under different things and kind of guide your way through. This is probably about the only space right here that I haven't really done anything with lately, or at all. As we continue though, I've got different plants and shrubs that I'll continue to add to flirt with the space. I don't want to cover up all my edging of the sidewalk. I still want there to be that nice open fill, and then there will be times that we duck in and duck out. I'll raise the camera just a little bit higher now so we can start to take the path, and we'll make one more loop and just kind of give you guys a glimpse of the garden. So if I'm standing straight, staring right at this space right here, you see how it turns, and kind of gives you that idea. I kind of want to go around there and see what's going on here. I've got another one of those decks to kind of break up that stone, and we'll get over here and we'll just kind of make our way to that part of the pathway, which again I'm incorporating it the same way. I've got some more plants that kind of continue to grow over the sides and kind of flirt with the edges, and it's just a little bit of a peaceful walk through here. You can hear somebody's air compressor in the background. I do apologize. But you can see here, it just plays out so well. Coming through here, and you get to step up and take a height, a little bit different perspective in the garden, and then we'll step down, continue on this pathway. But yeah, it's a little fun. It's a lot of fun actually walking through here, especially if it's your first time, or maybe your first time watching this and you're kind of trying to take it all in. These pathways just kind of enhance the garden tour, or the mind when you're watching this. And you can see my little brick pathway through here, my little stone pathway. Those stones actually used to be over by that spirea that turns in a sharp degree over there. That used to sit right there, and then I took it all out, and now I still have a whole bunch that I laid against the fence and for future projects. But you can see just how much that, oh, and that's a herringbone style pattern my brick is, if you're questioning how the stone was laid out. So I will probably throw up a few photos of how this was made. But after they've done the 3 layers, right, they did the crushed stone, then they did the whiter stone, and then they laid the brick on here. The next project was, after they had to cut it, and when I say they, I had an outside crew come in and help me. They did a lot of the majority of the work. My family and I hauled all the stone back here and got them separated and located in the right spots, so that when they got down on their hands and knees, they could just kind of pull them in and add to the space as they continued to crawl along, making this sidewalk. So then we had to add a layer of it's like sand and grit, but what it does is it locks all this in. I'm not 100% sure of the name, but yeah, it locked all this space in, and just help this space continue to grow and be a part of the garden. I'm going to walk through here again. I'll get this down here at level so you can see there's still a path. This is Baptisia right here, and little 9 bark here, and then we've got some crocosmia just above here. Oh, my neighbors have something so good cooking on the grill. It smells wonderful right now. And then I got this other little bridge that kind of takes us in to the grassy knoll that needs mowed in a bad way. But yeah, what do you think? I think it turned out really fun and really well, and I'm glad I went with it. I'm glad I didn't do the rounded edges, rounded corners. Those are it's so appealing, and I fought with myself night after night thinking about what this garden might look like. But I really like the idea. You see, here's what I'm talking about. You see how it just cuts and turns, and then you abruptly come to that space. So after you're sitting here looking at this, you don't know what's around the corner, right? You're just like, what's pulling you in. And so that's the way I visualize it. That's the way I visualize people. And you know, I listen to individuals who come and visit the garden, and kind of take what I'm hearing from them when they're visiting with their significant other or their children, or if it's my in-laws. I'm sitting behind and I'm listening, right? So I'm not just communicating with them, but I'm also visiting and taking it in. I want to know where I can take this garden. So what's the information I can get out of them when they're visiting amongst one another. Oh, you know how I push. Oh, I wish he would have done this, or I wish if I did this, here's what I would do. And you know, I see if I can implement it into this space, or take an idea from which they're kind of delivering and communicating through each other, and I kind of think, oh yeah, I can handle that. Maybe I should implement that in the garden. And that's kind of how this garden continues to materialize. There's a lot of ways. Here's another bridge. Sorry about that. I'm not sure where I was. I feel like I was somewhere in this space. I had someone look over the fence and ask me a question. So we're back again. I'm not sure where I was going or anything, but I will tell you that this sidewalk is a huge improvement over what I did have, and much more safe than it was before. It's like I said, it was made up, this pathway was made up of a lot of different materials, and now it just feels like it's very cohesive. And another reason why I wanted to get this sidewalk put in here is because I think next year I'm finally gonna pull the trigger, guys, and give it kind of a 1 week period where I kind of open the garden up for garden tours. I've always wanted to do that since I've started this channel, because I get a lot of people who will come by and want to look at the garden. I get a lot of friends, and you get feedback from people who come through here. But honestly, I think I'm going to pull the trigger. And here's the reason that I pull pause on the whole thing, is because of safety issues, right? I would hate for somebody to come through here and get hurt, and then I'm in a lawsuit, or you know, or you just don't know who's watching the videos and who might come to the garden. So all that together, there's a lot of questions, right? A lot of open questions. So honestly though, I think I'm going to open a week up next May, when the garden I feel like is in its prime, spring prime, and pull the trigger and see where this takes us. It will be very interesting. My wife tells me every year, Mike, you say this every year, you think the garden's at its peak and you're ready to let people in, and then I pull back because I'm a little hesitant. But yeah, I think that might be fun. I think I can just give it 1 week where the gates just open to all comers, and I don't know, I've got to figure out the legality of it, and kind of research it and see what's out there on the internet as far as allowing people to come and visit the garden, because I have a lot of local individuals that watch this and send me personal messages and whatnot about coming to the garden. So yeah, finally gonna do it, I believe. So next May I am going to open the garden, almost 9 years after we moved in here, or I guess next year might be the 10th year. So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll see if there's any interest. You know, like I said, I get quite a bit, but I don't know how to put that out there. Maybe in the local nurseries have different newsletters and that type of stuff. But yeah, you're opening yourself up to a world of unknowns. So I think it'll be a lot of fun though, and I can't wait for the feedback from that whole idea, and you know, where this garden might take us. I definitely, back there in the back where I tore down the gazebo, I need to get that done this season. Just the long hours, and then you get home, you just kind of want to relax. Holidays are coming, and just trying to do your thing, and I'm kind of going at it at a slow pace now. So anyways, what do you guys think? Did the sidewalk turn out good? Is that maybe appealing to some of you folks? Do you feel like this might take your garden in a different direction? Maybe you can borrow from something I've learned and implement it onto this pathway. I know not everybody's super big on allowing things to grow into your pathway, but honestly, I think it's just part of that style that I'm looking for, and reaching out and touching and feeling stuff is just a natural instinct for us humans. So I don't know, a lot of fun. Hopefully this little sidewalk tour was fun for you folks, and maybe hit the spot for some of you who are just waiting for that little thing to push you over the top. Irregardless, this was fun for me. So happy early July. Keep giving it your best, and we'll talk to you guys soon. If you like what you've seen, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and join me. I enjoy all the feedback. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.